We're back in Avi's Kosher Kitchen, and in the spirit of full disclosure, we need to let our audience know that you've prepared this dish for me, which is Tilapia Bananas Foster. You've prepared it for me before, and
Yes,
I can't wait for it to be prepared again. It's a fantastic meal. So tell us about it.
Okay, well, tilapia is bananas foster. First off, tilapia is a very common fish, okay, particularly in the kosher world. You know, for a fish to be kosher, it needs to have fins and scales on it, okay? And a lot of people will go to their kosher market to buy fish, and what do they see? They see salmon and tilapia, salmon and tilapia. And, you know, tilapia is a great fish for it because it's a pretty neutral fish. It's not a fishy, oily type. It's a very, takes on the flavor of whatever you're doing with it. Okay?
Right, and it's very affordable.
Very affordable. They're basically boneless. You're not worrying about the little bones inside of them or anything else like that. So it's a really, really, really nice fish to work with in a lot of ways. They usually come in frozen, so you keep it in your freezer for a while, take it out, they defrost relatively quick, and they're good to go.
Let's get to it.
So let's go to it. First, we're going to heat up our pan, okay? So we don't do that, we got a problem.
Right.
I'm going to take a little coconut oil, okay? Now, coconut oil is either going to be solid or sometimes at a higher room temperature, 80 some odd degrees, it'll be a liquid, okay? Coconut oil, I love cooking with this on certain dishes, and this is one of them, because the coconut flavor from the oil infuses itself right with the fish.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you're at home and you can't get coconut oil, you don't have it, something like that, very easy. You could use margarine, you could use olive oil, although I'd stay more with the margarine. It's a lighter flavor. Okay.
And are all oils kosher?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Processed oils need to have some sort of a kosher certification. So this is actually extra virgin coconut oil, which is a non-processed oil. So as long as it's extra virgin non-processed, you're good to go. But once it's processed, you need the certification. That's why extra virgin olive oil is fine without a certification. But regular olive oil, you need a certification. We're going to let our pan heat up, and I want to have this on kind of a medium, almost to medium-high heat, because I want the fish to develop a crust when I do it. Okay, we're going to take the fillets, very simple. On one side, I've got here some salt. Okay, so we'll just put a little salt on top of it. A little garlic powder. And you may ask, why aren't we using fresh garlic?
Why aren't we using fresh garlic?
I'm glad you asked that. You could use fresh garlic in the plate, but the adhesion of the garlic powder onto the fish is a little bit better, a little bit nicer.
Right.
And then I've got some cumin. And you're going to do both sides, the same thing, a little bit of salt on it. And you do this to taste. You know, there is no magic, you know, oh, that's too much garlic, it's too much. If you like it with that much garlic,
Right.
that much salt, then that's a good thing, you know.
Or what are some other ingredients that you can put on it?
You could use, instead of the cumin, you could use curry, okay? If you want to put a little paprika, hot paprika, spicy paprika, you could do that as well. Okay, now what I really like to do is lay out my fillets here and just take, here's my salt.
B24.
Here's my garlic. Lovely thing about garlic, by the way, is that if there's anything in a dish that has a kind of a, you know, fishy or this or that,
Right.
garlic has a way of absorbing that and taking it out, okay?
Right, both
And
sides.
just both sides again. A little salt, a little garlic, maybe a lot of garlic, and some cumin. Very simple.
Beautiful.
Okay, and now we're going to go stand back because we're going to take this.
Drop that in there.
Drop these babies in. There we go. And a tilapia fillet, by the way, it splits in the middle.
Right.
Right here. So if you want smaller portions, just cut it in the middle, and you've got a nicely smaller fillet that way. Okay. This will cook a little bit on one side, it'll cook on the other, get nice and crispy, and then we're going to make our banana sponsor sauce.
Right. So there's no batter necessary. People might think
No.
to get it crusty, it's not this. What you've
No.
done is already going to get
Yeah,
it.
very,
crusty.
very nice. You don't need the batter. You don't need any eggs or
Right.
anything like that, and you're good to go. One quick kosher note, by the way. Some people will use butter in the fish. There's some people, from a kosher perspective, that won't eat fish with dairy. Okay?
Right.
Sephardic Jews, which I think we both are Sephardic Jews, you and I.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not. I am.
Right. I'm
Okay.
Ashkenazi.
So we don't mix dairy and fish together, interestingly enough. So butter try not to do.
Right.
So that's why you guys have lox and bagels, lox and cream cheese, and we don't.
I say Shabbat, you say Shabbos.
No. I say Shabbat,
right,
you say
right.
Shabbos. And we're just going to let that go, and it should be good.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to make the bananas Foster, which
Absolutely.
is so special. We'll be right back. We're back in Avi's Kosher kitchen, where we're cooking tilapia bananas Foster.
Yep.
Before the break, we worked on the tilapia.
Here it is. Very nice.
It looks beautiful, smells beautiful, and now we're tackling the bananas Foster.
Exactly. So we're going to take our pan, and we're going to heat it up to low, medium heat, and we're going to take some margarine and put it in here. I'm using a margarine. If you're so inclined and want to use butter, that's fine too. I happen to just
Like margarine.
like margarine.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing also with the margarine is that it's going to keep all of this, the bananas Foster part, parve. Okay, which means it's not meat and it's not dairy. And the good part of that is, well, something I'll reveal at the end of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Very
so
good.
while that's heating up and melting, I've got some bananas here. We're just going to take the bananas. These probably bananas have been in the freezer a couple of weeks.
Right.
What happens is I've got kids. My
Right.
wife likes to buy bananas. And God bless her, she buys a lot of bananas. And God bless my kids, they go, I'll eat that tomorrow.
Right.
And then they don't eat it.
They don't
So
eat
we
it.
end up with bananas
That are
that are brown and look like this. So I put them in the freezer. Okay? Take them out of the freezer now. Okay? And you can see we just take them, cut them in half while they're frozen. The skin comes off really nice.
Right, let me take one when I
Chop
reach
them up.
over.
Yep. Watch your hand.
Grab that, help
And
you
we're just
out.
going to put our bananas right in here now to get them all done. It's a great way when you've got food left over to make the best use out of it, you know?
Right.
Because there's nothing worse than,
I know my wife will also take frozen bananas and put some peanut butter on it as a little snack treat at the end of an evening.
the other nice thing about this is that it's very, very refreshing, and it's very unexpected on the tilapia. So if you're making this for a dinner party, you're making this for a Shabbat meal or something like that, you're going to have something here that really, really, really makes people go, wow. Got a little.
And it's so good. It's so good.
So now that while the banana's cooked down, I'm going to take a couple of other things here. I'm going to take a little cinnamon, okay? Just a little bit of nutmeg. Be careful in the nutmeg because it's could be a little bit of a strong
Right.
thing. And now this is cardamom, another nice
Cardamom.
Mediterranean spice.
Right.
You know, in Turkey, which is where my family's from, when they make Turkish coffee, true Turkish coffee, when they brew it, at the end of the brewing, they take a little cardamom and put it right on top. Wonderful, wonderful flavor, great taste, really kicks it up and brings it up alive. I'm just going to put a little bit in here, okay? And you can start to smell it now, right?
Right.
And now we're going to take, while that's cooking down, a little vanilla, okay? So I like just a little liquid vanilla. And now this has a little bit of an alcohol kick to it sometimes, not too much. One of the things I really love about cooking is that recipes are a suggestion. They're not, you know, unless you're baking where you're really dealing with formulas of things, okay, and you're dealing with some kind of chemicals, but when you're cooking things, it's flavors coming together to complement each other, and it's totally subjective. So you're the best judge of that.
Right.
So if you say, gosh, you know what, I want a little more cinnamon in here, put it in. You want a little less of this. It's actually kind of cool. It doesn't stick, and we're going to mash the bananas up a little bit here. We want to cook a little bit of that liquid out because the bananas are going to have some liquid. So we don't want it to be too liquidy. Okay. One of the things that we're going to do here is add a little amaretto.
Beautiful.
Now, if you don't like amaretto, you don't have to add it. If you want to add something else, some people will add vodka. You can do that. Some people will add Kahlua. You get the kosher Kahlua, though. It's very
Right.
tough to find. Some people add Sabra, which is a chocolate liqueur or an orange liqueur, you know, something like that.
Marnier.
Grand Marnier,
Right.
if you find it kosher. So we're just going to add.
And they all exist in a kosher
like
form.
that. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Grand Marnier.
Okay.
Now, you may ask why I've got so much and I put so little in because I've got a couple glasses here, and I figure this is called Lechem, this show,
Right.
and we should say Lechem.
To life.
To life, Lechem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakol miyat v'baro.
Amen. It's beautiful.
Nice. So now this is pretty much done. You could let this cook down a little bit more if you want, or you could keep it just as is. So let's come over here and plate up our fish, okay? I'm going to take this nice plate we have here. We had our bananas on. We'll take a nice...
This is a very easy meal.
Very
It cooks
easy.
very quickly.
You take this
And
nice
it's
fillet.
it's a real
right
special
here.
treat for your family.
And we're just going to take a little bit of this. And
Right.
you could serve, by
Nice.
the way, when you serve this, you could serve the fish and people will go, ah, very nice. Take the bananas, put it in a separate bowl, and just scoop it right on top, and you're going to go, what's that? Surprise them. Or just take a little bit here and just serve it right on top. You don't need a lot because it'll spread out and go a long way. Okay, and there we go with the fish. And
Where'd you find your passion for cooking?
that's a great question. You know what? I actually found my passion for cooking when I was a kid because my mother couldn't cook, and I like to eat. So
Your mother couldn't cook.
she could boil water, and she
Right.
could heat up a TV dinner, and God bless her, I love her, and I tell her this all the time, and she knows it. But I said, if I really want something that's a little bit different, I've got to learn to do it myself.
Right?
So I basically started cooking when I was in college. I worked as a chef. Actually, when I was in high school, I worked as a butcher in a kosher market, coincidentally, and learned that aspect of things. And we cooked stuff,
Right.
all your deli meats and stuff like that.
So when we do a meat dish, we'll have a lot of great questions regarding how to prepare meat for this.
Good. It's shachol, so you said Baruch, Ata,
Adonai,
Eloheinu, melech
haolam,
haolam, shachol, niyah, bidbaro.
I love this dish. I love this dish. It is something that you just don't think of.
Yeah,
That is just such a wonderful, wonderful meal.
it's really, really nice.
Now it's
And
sweet, and the great thing about that it's being sweet is that you can offer it with a special treat.
Exactly.
So what's the special treat,
Special treat is that you take a bowl of ice cream.
right?
You knew this was
I
coming.
knew this was coming. Of course I knew this was coming.
And this actually is the parv ice cream,
Right.
non-dairy, which is a little bit of a soy thing. And you just take we put the bananas right on top.
Because I want this.
You take your spoon. You already said shachol,
Right.
which is the right bracha. And you serve when the bananas are hot and the ice cream is cold. Put that in your mouth.
This is so good.
I'm glad you like it.
Avi, we're going to have you back.
I hope so. I look forward to it.
Thank you very much for joining us on
Pleasure,
Delightful
my
Time.
pleasure, my pleasure.